So The Evil Dead was directed by Sam Raimi, and it's about a group of college kids who travel to this isolated cabin in the woods, and when they encounter this mysterious book and a tape recorder to go with it, they accidentally unleash a whole army of demons, and a bunch of them become possessed, and one of them, played by Bruce Campbell, must stop this whole thing before it takes him over too. So Evil Dead, the Evil Dead at least, I remember when the 2013 movie was coming out, and I kind of want to talk about that too in a few weeks before Evil Dead Rise comes out. The Evil Dead, I've kind of had an appreciation for because it was such a low budget movie and it managed to do so much with its very low budget. I looked it up at the time. It had a budget of less than $500,000, which that is impressive given everything that's on screen in this movie. And I've always kind of had an appreciation for this movie, and I go back to it frequently. I watched it over Halloween and I rewatched it recently to prepare for this review. So, what works with this movie? Well, mainly Bruce Campbell. He's the star of this movie. He's great. He's great as Ash Williams. I like his acting. I like the way he kind of like has jokes throughout the movie, and I also kind of like the physically demanding stuff that he has to do throughout this movie too. It teeters a line between like comedy and like seriousness and being serious, and I do think that works overall for this movie. And I also do think the other actors do a pretty good job as well, particularly Ellen Sandwich, who plays Cheryl in this movie. I think she does a really good job. She's really creepy in this movie after she becomes possessed. Richard Domanicore, I'm probably mispronouncing that name, but I thought he was really good as this friend who, he's kind of an idiot. He's kind of like this jerk in this movie. And I do think he's really funny. Even when he's about to be possessed, he's pretty funny. The other actors do an alright job too, particularly after they become possessed and when they're like really creepy demons. I thought they were really good. The makeup in this movie is incredible. Like, looking back, it's like, I'm surprised that not only was this makeup done in the 80s, but like it was done on a budget of a very small budget. Like, it just looks really creepy. It looks really well done, really well detailed. I was surprised by the amount of detail that went into the makeup of the possessed characters in this movie. And also, the practical effects of this movie are actually really good as well. I do think it's really well done. The camera shots are also very interesting. There are so many moments in this movie where it's like, I'm surprised that they actually shot it that way. Like, like at the very end when, the camera's just kind of zooming outside at first and then it goes into the house and then it zooms into Ash and he just screams. Like, I don't think I would have done it that way if I was Sam Raimi, but I do think it kind of works for this movie. It's over the top and it's completely over the top, and I just think for a movie like this, it kind of has to be. It's just a lot of fun to watch. There is a great blend of horror and comedy throughout this movie. There are times where it's like I was actually really scared of like what's about to happen, like what reveal's going to happen. And also, there are moments where it's pretty funny. Like, there's a scene where after the other male character is not Bruce Campbell, played by Richard Domanicore, he's bitten, but, like, Ash is just trying to give him water because, like, we just know what's going to happen. He's going to be a demon. Like, that's just really funny to me. I don't know why. But there are times where I was laughing. There are times where I was terrified. And I do think there is a lot of great amount of tension that's built throughout this movie, even though it is kind of comedic. Kind of like a comedic version of The Thing, but I do think just the anticipation of just waiting to see like when people are going to turn, when they'll actually start attacking, like when something's just going to pop out. It is really well done, and it's very impressive that this movie with such a small budget can be so effective in this way. The only thing about this movie that I really don't like in retrospect is the infamous rape scene. This is not a fun scene. This is just, I said this was over the top, but this movie just crosses so many boundaries. Like, I think it's very offensive. It didn't need to be in there. And, like, was the book enough? Was the tape recorder enough? Apparently not. It doesn't work for me. It crosses so many lines for me. And Sam Raimi he's been kind of iffy about this. He initially was like, if I could go back to that movie, I would not do that scene at all. But then again, in the 2013 movie, which, again, I want to talk about in a few weeks, he does have that in there, but then again, that wasn't his movie, so it just doesn't work for me. I just feel like, it is creepy enough with the book, it's creepy enough with the tape recorder, but you just don't need that scene. That is just disgusting. Other than that, Evil Dead is a lot of fun. I just don't watch that scene. I remember like rewatching it and like I'm trying to distract myself because I don't like seeing the scene. But again, just as long as you take that scene out, it is a really fun movie. The actors do a great job. The makeup is incredible. The camera shots are fascinating. It's completely over the top. It's a great horror comedy. And I'm going to look forward to talking about the rest of these movies. Well, maybe not so much the remake, but I still look forward to this, and I still look forward to Evil Dead Rise. So I'll give the Evil Dead 3.5 out of 4 stars. See it? So, what's your favorite Evil Dead movie? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat. Stay safe.